let's talk about this pitching situation. So the latest on Glasnow, again, we've already said it. We'll restate it here, but Dave Roberts kind of said that in so many words, maybe they left out some information, but he had an excused absence from the team. Obviously, understandably disappointed at how his season has turned out. But still, the whole saga, the whole thing, it was just weird from day one where he's like, I want to pitch. They're not letting me pitch. But now there's some sort of issue where he needs to be shut down, and there's an elbow thing and all of that. I don't know. Is both sides fuck this up? I think that's the point I'm getting to.
Yeah, I think Dave definitely. What's frustrating about Dave is kind of the whiplash you get if you read like one comment to the next. He has no idea where he's going. Oh, but it's excused. Oh, Bruce Starr tore his hamstring. No, it's just a grade 1 strain.
That's a great
like,
point.
The imaging was promising. Oh no, it's a sprained elbow. It's like, okay, well, like it's really hard to follow and it hurts. From Glasnow's perspective, I mean, I'm on his side. Like, if he was brought onto the team to be the ace, and he had been that thus far. He had the little stint with the back early, but that was like clearly just, like they were just giving him a rest using the All-Star break to give him a couple extra days rest. And he's to come so close to making the postseason to then just be like, no, you're done.
Yeah.
I could never imagine how that feels because I'm not a professional athlete, of course. But that has to be so disappointing and so frustrating, especially he didn't pitch much last year, coming off the I think it was a UCL repair. I don't think it was like a tear or anything.
He also had like an oblique thing I think happened in spring training, so
yeah,
didn't help him there.
No, and so to come back from last year, and then to basically go through this entire year, and then you're just right there, and then it just cuts short. Yeah, it sucks. So the folks that want to say, oh, well, you got to, face the music. You got to at least tell reporters. Sure. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's tough because like when you're hurt, the last thing you want to do is talk about it. And It's not like he was coming off. It's not like he was coming off an appearance and he didn't just pitch and then not talk to reporters.
Yeah.
He's been injured. To then just be like, oh yeah, hey, everybody come over and like let's just talk about this really fast. Like I know Juan Toribio approached him. He said, hey, I don't want to talk to you right now. I get it. I don't know. Like that's me. It's not like I don't think he necessarily owes anybody reporters anything for that. Like after a start, sure, you should talk about your outing. But when you're injured, like I don't think you need to be leave that up to the front office and the manager to kind of disclose what information needs to be disclosed. And that's where I think it lands a little bit more on Dave's head of he needs to be a little bit more upfront and honest about what's going on with his players.
And the like you said too, like literally the day before it was promising. The update is promising, and then it's like, oh, he's done for the year, and now he doesn't want to talk to you or whatever. Again, I cannot fault the guy even slightly. I would be quite pissed if my whole goal the entire season was to pitch in the postseason, and now that is taken away from you, and you're hurt again, and your whole career has been kind of marred by injury. You have this black cloud following you. It's a sad face rainy cloud following you of these injuries all the time. But still, I mean, I think they could have 1,000% done some things better. But that said, it doesn't matter. That's done. That's past. He's not an option for this team to be starting in this upcoming postseason. So who's left? You got Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You saw him tonight. You can like some of what you saw. You can hate some of what you saw, but he's there. Jack Flaherty, of course, the big-time trade deadline acquisition, has been mostly nails for the team since he was acquired from Detroit, but was a bit of a struggle in his last start. I'm kind of throwing that start away. Beyond that, it's Walker Buehler and the kitchen sink. Is it Landon Knack? Is he going to be that guy who maybe they go to a bullpen game and Knack is sort of the bulk guy? Is Justin Wrobleski going to be a part of this situation? Basically, what they need to know is they got 1 and 2 settled, but who can step up? in those other games, those other 2 starts or slots or whatever. Hopefully you sweep that first series. It buys you more time. I will say I have some confidence in Walker Buehler. We'll talk about that in just a second, but is it going to be Knack? Is he that 4th guy? Does Buehler take more steps back? I don't know, but that said, I feel really confident with Flaherty and with Yamamoto, 2 guys this team did not have last year in the postseason. These are grown men. These are some dogs right here. They've been missing that. They had it in 22. They had Tyler Anderson. He had that dog in him, as we know. He got very upset being taken out of that particular game that he was in. He wanted the ball there. These are 2 dudes who also want the baseball. This is not Clayton Kershaw with a shoulder falling off. This is not Lance Lynn. This is not Bobby Miller with the deer in the headlights kind of look. So I feel extremely confident about this. With what we have left, I would feel more confident we had Tyler Glasnow, but you don't. So I feel still pretty confident about what we have left with Yamamoto, Flaherty, Buehler, and then that aforementioned kitchen sink.
Yeah, so with the Glasnow injury, this whole season, people have asked with relative frequency, would you, how important is winning the division? And like I always said, it doesn't matter. Just get to the postseason healthy. I've changing my tune on that almost entirely. I actually think getting the 1st or 2nd seed is incredibly important now because they're not going to get to the postseason healthy. Like no matter what, Kershaw's hurt, Glasnow's hurt. Like they could be more injured, sure, yes, but you've already kind of sustained as many injuries as you could sustain. Now, at this point, any further injury is pretty backbreaking. So now they need this. They need to get to the 1st or 2nd seed because I think you kind of have to hide the pitching staff. Yes, I'm confident in Flaherty and Yamamoto. The issue with Yamamoto is he's only going to pitch they're going to continue to give him extra rest. So
yeah,
I just mapped it out. If he starts game 1 of the NLDS, he would be available to pitch at the earliest, because they've done, I think it was an 8-8 split on 5 days rest and on 6 days rest. The next time he'd be able to start again is game 5. If you start him in the wild card, all of a sudden now he's like your game 3 starter, and it's all screwed.
That's where it's going real bad. Yes.
Then it's just all out of whack. They need to be able to set up their pitching rotation if they're going to succeed in the postseason, in my opinion. I'm confident in Flaherty and Yamamoto. It's just because Yamamoto needs the extra rest. I think they need to be in the DS to start. When it comes to Walker Buehler, he's looked better the last 2 starts, I think. He's shown some stuff. Like he looked a lot more like Walker Buehler of old without being the Walker Buehler of old. I think he got somebody out on like a front door sweeper or something like that. That was just absolutely disgusting. Or sorry, it was a backdoor sweeper. I was like, okay, that's just gross. Like, I don't know. You can't hit that. And he was fired up about it. Awesome. Love to see that. I don't know if it's sustainable. I can believe in him all I want. I have no idea how it's going to translate into like postseason pitching.
Yeah, that's
so. That being said, I'm confident I would feel infinitely more better if Gavin Stone somehow comes out of this bullpen he's going to pitch, I think, this week.
It's this week, yeah.
Yeah, I think if he comes out of that feeling good, I'll feel a lot better, because if you're telling me our 3 starters are Yamamoto, Buehler, and Flaherty, that's really only 2.5 starters. So
yeah, with Stone, I don't know, man. You're talking about shoulder inflammation.
I know.
You're
unless Kershaw from last year.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's one factor that you're relying on a guy who, again, is currently dealing with an injury and hoping that he can come back at the very end of the season. Sounds like Dustin May. Sounds like Tony Gonsolin all over again. By the way, Gonsolin, another one of those maybe options. Didn't have the best start over the weekend, but still, he's kind of one of those been there, done that sort of dudes. His elbow is attached these days, so I think he's more of a 2-3 inning guy than somebody who would be a true starter. But it's kind of just about adding every little piece you can in there. But Stone, I'm really worried about. He hasn't been out for exceptionally long. What are we at? 2 weeks right now? Less than 3 weeks.
So he could build back up.
And if he's somebody who's able to be at let's say 65, 70 pitches for a first round start as your game 4 guy, so you give him even more time, you're feeling a little bit better. I feel pretty set in now it being Flaherty, by the way, 1, 2, 3 Flaherty, Yamamoto, and Walker Buehler in a postseason series. And if it's Walker Buehler with the season on the line, I'm terrified for sure. But as I've been saying, dropping the hints all show, I feel better about Walker than I have at any point this season. I felt pretty good about him a start and a half ago, but I love what you see. I love the tenacity you get out of the dude when he gets a little fired up. And in the postseason, you're always fired up. So I do have a clip to throw here. We talked to MLB.com's Juan Toribio today, and I forgot to plug this in. So Kevin, you might not be able to hear this. I might not be able to hear this, but they will be able to hear this. So let's listen to Juan T about some Walker Buehler getting fired up for the postseason.
Walker Buehler, as it stands right now, would be the number 3 starter in a postseason series. Have you seen enough from him to make you feel confident in that choice?
Yes and no. I mean, it's been a weird season for Walker. Obviously, he's coming back from the second Tommy John. I mean, if you remember a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, he left the team. He just went to Florida, and nobody knew exactly where he was or what he was doing or why he went to Florida. And now he's kind of like the third best guy in the rotation. So things change fast, especially when your stars are dropping like flies, like they are with the Dodgers right now. 2 weeks ago, he was talking about, I hope I can get a chance in the playoffs. We have so many talented guys. And now they don't really have a choice. I mean, whether I think that he's the right choice or not, they just don't have anybody else. And I think the one thing that Walker does have going for him is, he's done this. He loves the playoffs. He loves being on that stage. He's a confident, cocky guy. And I think that's what you need in the playoffs. We kind of saw that yesterday. He's staring down hitters as he's striking them out. So I think in terms of attitude, he's definitely a pretty good choice. But he also has a 5.5 ERA this season. So it's just kind of, but this is the reality of where the Dodgers are right now. I would bet that Walker Buehler would kind of get up for a playoff game. So that's kind of what they have right now.
And that's what I focused in on, getting Walker Buehler, getting it up in a postseason game. If we're talking about somebody who's been there, done that, it is Walker effing Buehler. And what we saw, particularly in those final 3 innings in Atlanta, was Walker effing Buehler. That was butane, and he's learning to adapt. He's learning to adjust. And you mentioned the sweeper a little bit ago. I cannot remember. Is he traditionally a sweeper guy? Because I always thought he was a curve slider. And I was talking about this on a stream recently, and I might have been saying it more for Bobby Miller, but going to that sweeper just to get the hand position a little bit different and maybe make some other pitches work a little bit better. Hopefully they do that with not big game Bob, but to see it do paying a little bit of dividends early for Walker is impressive. Said,
it's something he's introduced fairly recently. Mm-hmm. He's traditionally not a sweeper. I think they said he showed 7 pitch types yesterday, which is absolutely crazy when you think about the guy that he was coming up, where it was just fastball, power, curve.
Yeah.
And now he's, sitting here with potentially 7 pitches. He's working a mix. He looks confident with the mix when he's striking dudes out. Got to limit the walks, obviously. But, I mean, there's something there. Like, he's showing you something.
Yeah. He's showing me enough to be that game 3 starter.
That's the thing is, like, I don't know if it's enough. Like, I could maybe live with it, but it's like one of those things where it's like last year, it's like,
tell me this.
Technically shown me enough to be a postseason starter. Technically,
answer me this: Would you take this Walker Buehler over last year's Lance Lynn in that game 3?
Yeah, because I love Walker Buehler. He's like one of my favorite players.
He's got a jersey. That guy's got a jersey, and that's all he needs. Go ahead.
I guess I'm afraid to get hurt because I don't want to buy in and just get crushed if he gets crushed.
That's fair.
So that's kind of where I'll land that plane.
So I had this as my big reveal, even though I talked about it in our Discord chat over the weekend. JR in the chat here says, bring up Ferris. Fuck it, DFA Kiermaier. Jackson Ferris, 20-year-old left-hander. Don't you dare laugh at me about this because it's smart. It's smart. I don't care what people think. I don't care if it's a stupid idea. It's a smart idea because a kid in his first full season with the Dodgers, he absolutely shoved, did Jackson Ferris. 3.2 ERA, made it up to AA, 27 starts, 126 innings pitched. He has the third most innings pitched if he would be in the Dodgers rotation. That would be the third most, I think. He looks good. I don't know if he's ready, but no other team would be ready for Jackson Ferris either. So that's my big reveal. Would they do it? No. Should they do it? Hell yeah. I've decided hell yeah. You've had some people, including you, wanting this team to call up Edgardo Henriquez, who's also not ready. You have a need for a starter, not another reliever that can throw 104. Make it Jackson.
Yeah, but the difference is Edgardo Enriquez needs to be on the 40-man roster at the end of this year. Jackson Ferris does not.
Yeah, but you also don't want to get beat in the postseason again because you don't have enough starting pitching. Ferris is above like somebody like Robleski for me on the depth chart. You're starting the clock on him early, but if it helps, play into a World Series win. Which again, that's being real, pie in the sky hopeful there. I don't know. I think he would be. It would shock the world.
Do you have any batters coming back that he could face really fast? Because he's 20 years old. He's in AA. He's the youngest guy to throw in AA this year, and he's lighting the world on fire. Don't get me wrong. He's super. It's like unbelievably exciting prospect. High 90s from the left side, power curve. I think he has a slider. He's got some horizontal movement in there somewhere. It's exciting, but it's also AA, and I'm glad he's succeeding in AA. But
hey,
let's keep him.
Clayton Kershaw was called up from AA. Then he had to get sent back down, but you know what? He was okay.
Sent back down. Yeah.
Okay. He didn't have.
They can't get sent back down to the playoffs. You just go home.
That's fair. I don't know, man. Hey, look, even my guy Jeff Snyder, Locked On Dodger, says he was thinking about Ferris the other day. He's thrown as many as 101 pitches in a game this year, so he's built up anyway. Listen, desperate times call for desperate measures. Do you want to win or do you want to go home early again? Now, is he the best option? Absolutely not. He's a option. He's a creative option, and I think Dodgers fans would love to see that over a bullpen game mixed in this postseason. That said, I wouldn't also
by Tony Gonsolin.
Bulk guy Tony.
You
need to see the same way you want to see some things out of Gavin Stone when he throws this week. We need to see some things out of Tony Gonsolin and his.
I'm more confident in Tony Smokes than I am Gavin Stone right now. If I'm being completely honest.
All right, which one is more wild? Jackson Ferris being called up, or Shohei Ohtani throwing the last pitch in the Dodgers for the Dodgers World Series this year?
Jackson Ferris being called up is way
no.
Crazy. It's already trending in the direction. We all see it. We all see the train coming. We all see it coming. Oh,
show train.
No, there's no way he can't pitch this year. Well, I wouldn't close the door on it entirely. Crack it open. It's not 100% shut down. And 2 weeks from now, hey, you know what? He's been building up. We'll just let him keep throwing.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, just let him throw.
Chugga, choo choo.
Anyways, that's what we want to talk about. There's your pitching stuff. If we're putting a button on it, feel confident in the fact that this starting rotation is better than we've seen in the last couple of years, really. There was just Tyler Anderson in 22. They were tired as hell in 21. There was really nobody alive in 23. Feel good. You got two potential ace types with Flaherty and Yamamoto, and an ace of the past in Walker Buehler that could hopefully do some big things in a Game 3 start or all around, the rotation in the postseason, where however things line up, because you don't get to line up your postseason rotation perfectly each and every time, especially if it's that wild card.